What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Coach Sean's Kitchen. Today, we're taking on every gyro place ever because we're making some homemade low-carb gyros. Gyros have to be one of my favorite foods, but I feel like every time I get them takeout, I'm always disappointed. The meat is dry and crumbly and tastes like it was defrosted that morning. Instead, I'm gonna show you how you can create a gyro lamb meatloaf that you can smoke on your Traeger that will create some of the best gyros that you've ever had. You are not gonna wanna miss it. This is Coach Sean's Kitchen. So if you like Coach Sean's Kitchen and you want to see more videos like how to make keto gyros, please subscribe. Or maybe send this video to a friend who's in need of a healthy recipe or two. So to kick off our keto gyro, I'm gonna begin with a nice leg of lamb that I picked up from Costco. And I'm gonna cube it up because I'm gonna run it through my meat grinder to create a gyro meatloaf. Since I don't have any rotisseries or any of that fancy gyro equipment that you see in the restaurants, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a lamb meatloaf with all of those gyro flavors, and then we're gonna smoke it on the Traeger grill over some fruit wood, and this is gonna create an absolutely amazing gyro meat. So there really is no rhyme or reason to how I'm cubing up this meat, just getting it small enough that it fits into my meat grinder. And you'll notice there's a great amount of fat on the outside of this leg of lamb, and I'm gonna leave all of it on there. So now that my meat is cubed up, I'm gonna put it in the freezer to firm up for about 15 minutes. We're gonna turn our attention to some vegetation. I love a great amount of onion present throughout my gyro meat. So what I'm gonna do is take one onion and I'm gonna run it over my box grater. This is gonna give me some very fine shreds of onion. Now, onion has a lot of water in it, and I don't want that to water down my meatloaf. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to squeeze as much moisture out of the onions as I can, and I'm gonna let them drain for a while. Next, I'll dice up some garlic, and as far as vegetation, that's all we're gonna put into our gyros. Now we're gonna move on to grinding our gyro meat. And this step's only necessary if you're a nerd like me and you love taking those extra steps to really elevate your cooking. If you don't have a meat grinder, you can buy ground lamb or maybe some other fun meats like ground bison. So now that all our ingredients are ready, it's time to assemble our gyro meatloaf. So into a bowl, I'm gonna add that ground lamb, the onions and garlic, as well as some really earthy spices that I love in my gyro meat, like marjoram and rosemary. Then we're gonna mix it up, and then I'm gonna put the meat into a loaf pan, and I'm only doing this to help me form the meatloaf. I'm gonna cook my gyro meat the same way that I do meatloaf on my smoker. And that means only using this loaf pan to help form the meat. After that, I'm just gonna place it on the smoker, and this allows me to continually baste it while it's cooking, and also allows for much more smoke penetration. So now that our gyro meat is ready to go, let's head out to our smoker. So today, I have my Traeger smoker at 325 degrees, and it's filled with a nice blend of fruit wood, like apple, cherry, and maple. So I'm gonna cook this lamb meatloaf for about an hour, hour and a half, or until it temps at 165 degrees. If you don't have a smoker, then just stick the loaf pan into your oven and cook to the same temperature. So while our gyro meat is cooking, let's create a keto tzatziki sauce. So I found this great 10% fat Greek yogurt, and I think I can create a great tzatziki sauce out of it. So to that, we're gonna add some minced garlic, some fresh dill, some olive oil, lemon juice, and some salt. And we're gonna whisk it together. The last thing I'm gonna add to my tzatziki sauce is some fresh cucumber. So I'm gonna run it over the box grater just like I did the onions, and we have the same problem with too much water being present in that cucumber. So I'm gonna put it into a tea towel and I'm gonna squeeze out as much water as I can. Then I'm gonna take those cucumber shreds, add them to my tzatziki sauce, mix it up, taste for seasoning, and then I'm gonna park it in my fridge to really allow those flavors to develop. So the last thing we need to do is create our pita bread. But instead of using pita, we're gonna create some homemade cloud bread. So Leah showed me this recipe, so she stepped in to create it for us today. So cloud bread is an easy way to create a zero carb bread at home. And it's basically a meringue that you turn into a slice of bread. So we're gonna separate some eggs and we're gonna take those whites and we're gonna beat them until we have stiff peaks. And then in a separate bowl, we're gonna beat together our egg yolks and some cream cheese. And once incorporated, we're gonna begin folding in those egg whites to create a very cloudy, fluffy bread. Now we really wanted some mini gyro tacos, so we're gonna elect to make very small little cloud bread circles. So once it's on some parchment paper, we're gonna park it into a 400-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes or until golden brown and delicious. So now that everything is done, let's begin plating up. So looking at our gyro meat, you can see that this came out perfect. We have a wonderful charred color on the outside. You can see that beautiful smoke ring around the outside of the gyro meat. This is gonna lend itself to some fantastic gyros. So onto our plate, we're gonna put down 3 pieces of cloud bread, and then we're gonna top it with some of that homemade tzatziki sauce. And since it's been in the fridge, it's really developed some great flavor. We'll put a slice of gyro meat on top of each one, garnish with some fresh tomato and onion, and now you have a delicious homemade and keto gyro. These came out so good, and it's hard to believe that there's virtually no carbs in this entire dish. Better yet, the leftovers are amazing. You can create sandwiches and wraps, you can even create a gyro salad. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Coach Sean's Kitchen. If you did, please hit that like button and let me know in the comments how this recipe turned out for you. And just remember, you can make anything homemade and healthy.